I've gone down the rabbit hole of real estate investing and financial freedom, and I've realized something. What if we could teach our kids the basics of financial literacy before they even felt the pressure of bills, burnout, or taxes?
Welcome to the Physicians and Properties Podcast, the show where we teach you how investing in real estate can give you the freedom to practice medicine and live life how you want.
Doctor!
Now, here's your host, Dr. Alex Slow.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Physicians and Properties. This is where we explore how physicians can build wealth, create freedom, and live intentional lives through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. Today's episode is a bit of a departure from our usual episodes. We're talking about something more important than real estate, more important than entrepreneurship. We are talking about how to teach our kids about money. I'm sharing how I started financial literacy training with my 4-year-old son, Jack. And if you're a parent or you plan to be one, I think you will walk away with the framework that could change the way your family talks about and experiences money for generations. So here's the truth. Most of us didn't learn about financial literacy until adulthood or at all. I didn't learn about investing, cash flow, tax strategy as a kid growing up. I certainly didn't learn about it in med school. I had to figure out after the fact, after I was already busy in medical school and in residency. Now, I've gone down the rabbit hole of real estate investing and financial freedom, and I've realized something. What if we could teach our kids the basics of financial literacy before they even felt the pressure of bills, burnout, or taxes? Kids learn by watching. They learn by action. And in a world where swipe to pay and tap to order are the norm, delayed gratification, intentional spending, and generosity are rare. That's why I knew I had to start with Jack now and not later. Jack was constantly asking about money. He was very interested. I share with him what I'm doing in real estate, what we're doing to create financial freedom, what we're doing to have the ability to afford to do the things that we do. So money is not a taboo topic in our house. And so he has shown a lot of interest in money. He would find a quarter or find a penny and get so excited about it, but didn't really understand the power of saving, the power of spending, the power of generosity and sharing. So here is what we're going to do at home. And I've spent a lot of time learning about how to teach kids financial literacy. Scott Donnell is one of my favorites in this category. And some of what I discuss here is a system I took from Scott Donnell's work and how I adapted it to fit our family. So here's what we're doing at home. We're using a very simple tool, just 3 jars. 1 jar is labeled save, 1 jar is labeled spend, and 1 jar is labeled share. So saving, this is for the big things that Jack wants, a specific toy, a trip, a special outing. He puts his money into this jar and we tape a picture of the goal right on it. So when he determines what he wants to save for, we'll put that picture on there and he'll be able to see what that is that he's saving for. But here's where it gets fun. We match whatever he puts into the save jar. So if he saves $1, we put in $1. If he saves $2, we add $2. It turns saving into a game and shows him the power of consistency, delayed gratification, as well as interest. The next jar is the spend jar. This is his money to use now. He can do whatever he wants with it. We just had this money conversation yesterday, and today he was very excited to spend $1.25 at a vending machine at the YMCA and buy some fruit snacks. That's the point of the spend jar. It is his money and he can do with it what he wants. We guide, but we don't control. We want him to experience spending. We want him to experience buying something that he may not be happy with. He's going to make mistakes with the spending jar, but it is his. We guide, we don't control. He's going to learn best through experience, even if that experience includes buyer's remorse over a squishy bouncy ball that he loses. Now, the other thing that's really cool about this spend jar is we want him to understand spending money to make money. And so we are starting a lemonade stand for him. This was actually his idea, is to start a lemonade stand. And we're going to use some of his money from the spend jar to purchase the supplies that he needs to set up his lemonade stand. And he is going to keep all the profits. But this is his initiative. He wants to do this. And so we're going to help him with that. The last jar is the share jar. So we talk about generosity a lot in our family, whether through the church, whether that's donating to another cause. And the share jar is a jar where Jack is going to choose who he wants to help, whether that's a church offering, whether that's buying a toy for another child, or donating that to a cause. We don't just talk about giving, we do that with him because we want that meaning to really sink in. And we're trying to reiterate the power of giving, the power of sharing, that money is a tool. Money is not something that should be controlling our lives. Now, we don't give Jack an allowance. No weekly just because payments, no allowance just because he exists, because I don't want him growing up thinking that money just shows up every Friday. Instead, he learns through gigs. What are gigs? These are small jobs around the house that go above and beyond everyday expectations. So we made a gig menu for Jack. For example, if he picks up 10 toys, he gets 25 cents. If he cleans up the whole playroom, including his brother Owen's toys, he gets 50 cents. If he waters the garden, 25 cents. If he matches socks, 25 cents. We want him to have the ability to earn, the ability to understand that he can work for money, and it's visual, it's consistent, and most importantly, it is earned. That's the message that we really want him to understand, that if he goes above and beyond and takes initiative, then we will reward him for that. So he learns that money is something that is earned, and he controls that. Other things are occasionally if he is overtly kind to his brother without us asking, or he shares his toys, we will use that to reward his behavior. And what I love about this system is it teaches more than money. It teaches character. Saving teaches discipline. It teaches patience, goal setting, prioritization. This is a lifelong skill that is going to benefit him. Spending teaches responsibility and decision making. It also teaches that once the money's gone, it's gone. And sharing teaches empathy, kindness, awareness, the idea that we are a part of something bigger than ourselves. These are not financial habits, they're life habits that are going to serve Jack well in the future. One of my favorite ideals from Scott Donnell, one of his ideas is that this system can also be used to reinforce natural consequences rather than punishment. So let's say, for example, Jack breaks something carelessly. Instead of me yelling at him, we might say, Jack, that cost $5 to fix. Do you want to help cover that from your spend jar? No guilt, just responsibility. That's how adults handle money, and it's powerful to show kids that early on as well. Or for example, if he has an outburst and a tantrum and he won't share his toys, we will ask him, hey, Jack, please go get a quarter from your spend jar. Then he realizes the reinforcement with that. And he realizes that he has to give us something that he worked hard to earn because he did not obey. That's discipline without shame. So what this looks like week to week is we're going to sit down with Jack. We're going to look at his jars, count his money, and choose where it goes. He has to save at least 50% in the save jar and then at least 25% in each of the other two jars. Okay, now we might let him drop down the save jar to 10% so he can learn that, but at least 10% is the minimum for for the share jar, and 50% is the minimum for the save jar. This is going to become a rhythm in our house. Sometimes he's going to want to save, sometimes he's going to want to spend, and sometimes he's going to surprise us with a generous choice to share. We want money, the conversation about money. We want this to become a rhythm in our house, like brushing teeth for financial muscles. And here's the best part. He is so excited about this. I mean, so excited. There's no whining for random toys or meltdowns at the store because he understands that money is earned and it's not given. Now, of course, we still have those moments. He's 4 years old, but he's learning the responsibility. He's learning that this is his, and he's learning that he can earn. So here's the challenge I want to give you if you are a parent. Start now. It doesn't matter if your kid is 3 or 13. It's easy to start with some cash, use some jars, make it visual, make it simple, and most importantly, make it consistent. As a physician, we often feel like we're pulled in 1,000 different directions, but this is one of the most high impact things that we can do for our kids. Teaching your child how to earn, save, and give and spend with intention, one of the most important things that we can do to set them up for success going forward. So that's it for today's episode of Physicians and Properties. I hope this gave you a practical, heartfelt framework to bring home that can help benefit you as well. If you're already teaching your kids about money, I would absolutely love to hear what you're doing. And if you're just getting started, reach out. I'll send you our gig menu and jar labels, and we can talk more through this. I want us to raise a generation of kids who are financially free before they even hit adulthood. So until next time, let's invest wisely, live fully, and remember that our greatest returns are in our little ones at home. Thanks for joining me on today's podcast. And with that, it has been Dr. Alex with another episode of Physicians and Properties. If you learned something from this podcast episode, share it. Share it with a parent who would benefit from learning about how to teach their kids more about money. As always, thank you. Cheers. Hey, real quick, if you're still listening to this, I'm assuming you got value from it. So I need your help specifically. My 2-year vision with this podcast is to help 100,000 physicians learn how investing in real estate can give you the freedom to practice medicine and live life how you want. There are 2 main ways that a podcast grows. One is through ratings and reviews, and the other is word of mouth. If you can please leave me a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, as well as send this to 1 to 2 friends that you think would get value from it, we can reach the physicians that we want to reach. Thanks in advance, and talk to you on the next episode. Please note that the information shared on this podcast is for informational purposes only. It should not be considered financial, medical advice. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the host and the guest and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Department of Defense or the United States Air Force.